For the last 3 generations, you've been fed a lie. It's the most expensive lie in the history of personal finance. It's whispered to you by your parents, screamed at you by real estate agents, and sold to you by the banks. The lie is simple. Rent is just throwing money away. Buying a house is the best investment you'll ever make. In 2026, this statement isn't just wrong, it's financial suicide. The American dream of a white picket fence has mutated into an American nightmare of golden handcuffs. My name is Brock, and today I'm going to show you why buying a home in this specific market, the 2026 market, is a trap designed to strip you of your cash, your mobility, and your freedom. I'm going to break down the brutal math that your real estate agent is hiding from you. I'm going to explain why renting is actually the ultimate power move, and I'm going to show you why the smartest money in the room is selling, not buying. Let's look at the battlefield. 2026 is not 2020. The era of free money is dead. We're currently watching inventory swell in major cities across America. Sellers are losing leverage. Prices are starting to tick down in some areas, and you might be thinking, great, it's a buyer's market. I should jump in. Do not jump in. That is not a dip. That is the mouth of a shark. Here's the fundamental problem. The price of the house is not the cost of the house. When you look at Zillow, you see the sticker price, you see the estimated mortgage, and you compare that number to your rent. Oh, my rent is $2,500. The mortgage is $2,800. For an extra $300, I can own. You're bad at math. You're forgetting the unholy trinity of homeownership that doesn't build you a single cent of equity. Number 1, interest. Number 2, taxes. Number 3, insurance. Let's talk about interest. Even with rates stabilizing, you are still paying a massive premium to the bank. In the first 5 years of a 30-year mortgage, roughly 80% of your payment is just burning money. It goes straight to the bank's profit. You aren't paying yourself, you're paying for the CEO of Wells Fargo's third yacht. Let's talk about taxes. Property taxes in 2026 are skyrocketing as local governments try to plug their budget deficits. You don't own your land. Try not paying your property taxes for 2 years. You'll find out very quickly who actually owns your house, the government. You're just a tenant with a mortgage. And let's talk about insurance. This is the silent killer. In states like Florida, California, and Texas, insurance premiums have doubled or even tripled. In some places, the insurance payment is now higher than the principal payment. This is dead money. It's gone forever. When you add up the interest, the taxes, the insurance, and the maintenance, which is 1 to 2% of the home's value every single year, you'll realize that renting is significantly cheaper than owning in almost every major U.S. metropolitan area. This is the rent-to-price ratio, and right now, it's flashing red. But the financial cost is only half the trap. The real trap is immobility. We've talked about the white-collar wipeout. We've talked about how AI is reshaping the job market. In a volatile economy, your greatest asset is mobility. You need to be able to move where the money is. You need to be able to pivot. If you buy a house, you're planting a tree in concrete. What happens if you lose your job 6 months after buying? You can't just leave, you have to sell. And selling a house costs money. Agent fees, closing costs, transfer taxes. It costs roughly 8 to 10% of the home's value just to sell it. If you buy a house for $500,000 and sell it 2 years later for the same price, you didn't break even. You lost $50,000 in transaction fees. You're trapped. You're forced to take a lesser job or endure a brutal commute because you're anchored to a piece of drywall. Renting is not throwing money away. Renting is buying patience. Renting is buying flexibility. When you rent, your housing cost is the maximum you'll pay. If the roof leaks, it's not your problem. If the boiler explodes, it's not your problem. When you own, your mortgage is the minimum you will pay. Everything else is on top. Now let's talk about the opportunity cost of that down payment. To buy a decent house in 2026, you need a chunk of cash. Let's say $100,000. If you put that $100,000 into a house, it's dead equity. It sits there in the walls. You can't spend it, you can't eat it. It generates zero cash flow. But if you took that $100,000 and invested it in the S&P 500 or your own business, it grows, it compounds, it remains liquid. The rich do not bury their cash in their primary residence. They keep their cash moving. They keep their cash working. They view a primary residence as a liability, not an asset. Thank you, Robert Kiyosaki, for teaching us that simple truth. An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money out. Your house takes money out every single month. But Brock, you say, real estate always goes up. Does it ask the people who bought in 2007? Ask the people buying commercial real estate right now. We are entering a period of demographic decline. The boomers are selling. The younger generation is broke. Who's going to buy these millions of homes at these inflated prices? Supply is coming. Demand is shrinking. Basic economics tells you what happens next. And even if it does go up, does it beat the market? Historically, real estate appreciates at roughly the rate of inflation. The stock market appreciates at 8 to 10%. Your house is a glorified savings account that you have to paint, insure, and heat. So, what is the strategy for 2026? Strategy number 1. Rent and invest the difference. Find a modest rental. Take the money you would have spent on a down payment and repairs and aggressively invest it in liquid assets. Build a war chest. Be the person with $500,000 in the bank and no house rather than the person with a $500,000 house and zero in the bank. The person with the cash is free. The person with the house is a serf to the bank. Strategy number 2. Wait for the blood. The inventory is swelling. Sellers are stubborn, but they'll eventually break. If you absolutely must buy, wait. Let the panic set in. Let the days on market creep up to 90, 120 days. We're seeing the cracks form. Don't be the hero who steps in to save a desperate seller right now. Be the vulture who swoops in when the price corrects to reality. And strategy number 3, mobility is the new wealth. Build a life that can fit in a backpack and a laptop. The ability to move to a tax-free state, or a cheaper country, or a booming city at a moment's notice is worth more than granite countertops. Don't let a 30-year mortgage dictate your career strategy for the rest of the decade. The picket fence is a prison bar painted white. The bank wants you to buy. The government wants you to buy. The realtor wants you to buy. Because when you buy, you become a stable, tax-paying, interest-paying unit of the system. You become easy to control. Don't be easy to control. Stay liquid, stay mobile, stay renting. I'm Brock. Don't catch the falling knife. I'll see you in the next one.